race, though. Not much time to waste because the green flag has already been waved at the back of the grid there, and the red lights are on. And 15 minutes of racing, we're underway at Silverstone. And it's John Village that makes a good start in his Village V2. Lyndon Thruston, number 23, then had the clear track ahead of him. Has he been able to capitalise on that? I'm not sure he has, because Graham Wilson, number 7, was trying to squeeze his way through in the time 3B, but I don't think he could make it. So it's John Village leading then. Lyndon Thruston is second. Graham Wilson is in third position, and fourth at the moment is number 12, Ben Mile, as they make their way around Village for the first time. We've got different classes here. We've got Class C, which is the main class for the historic 750 Formula cars themselves. Oh, and there's contact there! And that's Lyndon Thruston just being nerfed out of the way by Graham Wilson, I'm afraid. Ben Mile has had to take avoiding action, and so too has Charles Cooling in the number 3 car. So that's a little bit historic 750 Formula-like, really. That incident down there at the link on the opening lap, it's given a huge lead to John Village.
Absolute chaos there, wasn't there? For just a little tiny tap which caused a spin, but it was the reaction required by a couple behind, Ben Mile and Charles Cooling, having to effectively do a full 360 to rejoin the race and briefly go in the wrong direction of the circuit, but thankfully using the link road that comes in from Maggots and Beckett's to help with that U-turn. So second position now in the hands of Trevor Slatter, who's just worked his way through, number 72, yes. If that is second.
I think it is.
Third place for Timothy Sage. But yes, throwing the cat amongst the pigeons, and they're coming through now in all sorts of different orders.
Graham Wilson was there in second, so Trevor Slatter third then in the number 72 car, fourth to number 42 Timothy Sage, fifth to number 65 Jörg Schneider, and sixth to 55 Roger Rowe. But John Village leading, so Graham Wilson, having precipitated all of that chaos, is the one that survived pretty much unscathed in second position as the cars come through at the end of lap 1. I was just explaining the classes. There is the main historic 750 Formula class, that's Class C. There's also Class A, which is for normally aspirated Austin 7s, and Class AS, which is for supercharged Austin 7s. I think, though, there's only Timothy Roebuck representing the supercharged Austin 7s here this weekend. You can see him on the timing tower. He's represented by the green square, and he is in 7th position overall as the cars work lap 2, and there'll be a bit of sorting out to be done after that early chaos.
Yeah, Ben Myhill rather came through in 12th position. Charles Cooling also involved in that opening lap skirmish, 14th, but lap time should be a lot better than those positions, and hopefully they can find their way through in only a 15-minute race. We've had nearly 3 minutes of that. John Village leading by 4.5 seconds at the start-finish line. Graham Wilson trying to chip away at that then as early as he can. Trevor Slatter, Timothy Sage, Jörg Schneider much closely bunched, and they're running in 3rd, 4th and 5th.
So there is Slatter in that number 72 Centaur, making its way through club to complete the second lap of this race. In 3rd position he's got the Malak of number 42 Tim Sage behind him. That's the, I think, the only 1 litre engined car here. The majority of the cars are with the 850cc Reliance engine. We've had a spin there for number 88, Jerry Fincham. Now, he was in 12th position, but it was rejoined behind the number 147 car, which I think may well be the car that's in 16th position. It's showing us a transponder issue on our screen, but I think that may be the 147 car of Mark Lawton, the Beach, in 16th position.
And that spin for Jerry happening on the exit of Vale. Just before club corner, he was sitting 90 degrees to the direction of travel briefly, but thankfully found a forward gear. Some white flags being waved at Abbey now to indicate someone's in strife rounding that corner, but has now left the scene. It's the number 2 car which is struggling. Nigel Howard, who had started from the 5th row, came through at the end of the lap in 11th. But that car expiring with smoke coming out of the side of that car, I think.
Yellow flag, so yellow flags there, Johnny. You have to warn of that.
Looking like he's going to go no further, unfortunately, for Nigel.
Yes, so there is one of those cars that's recovering. That's Charles Cooling, who is 28 years of age. Ron Brackley, he's a composites engineer at Alpine Formula 1 team. So racing very much at his local circuit, but he's under threat there from the 37 car. Is he not? That's Tim Ellison that's going through in the Centaur Mark 16. So Charles Cooling I think losing a position there. So it's Charles' first season of racing. He's racing the 1972 DNC with its Reliant engine. He's trying to come back now, and they're both behind there. Timothy Roebuck in the only supercharged Austin 7 in the race. That's the car that was formerly owned by the late John Miles. And Timothy Roebuck sort of in 8th position overall as they're heading into that yellow flag zone at Abbey. Meanwhile, John Village continues to lead. Graham Wilson is 2nd, Trevor Slatter is 3rd, and Timothy Sage in 4th. These are the cars heading down the Hanger Straight now.
Well, Charles Cooley's car is capable of a high 1:31, and that was a fair bit quicker than Trevor Slatter in qualifying this morning. So I would expect Cooling to certainly get into the top 6 by the end. Well, that's a bit of a big ask, quite possibly, but he has got more speed than his 10th place would suggest. Ben Mile, who was in grief because of that opening lap collision, has now ground to a halt completely, Ian.
Yeah, that's a great shame. He was 20th at the end of lap 1. He'd come back to 13th at the end of lap 3, but now pulling off into retirement, I'm afraid. So that's a great shame for the driver of number 12, Ben Mile, in the Reliant engined car, as the majority of these are. So we're watching now the 49 car coming down the hang straight towards us. So that is the car of Peter Coombs, who is in 14th position at the moment, and he has behind him Jerry Fincham, and that confirms that is then the 147 car that is 16th on some screen, the Beach of Mark Lawton.
Yeah, so switch the T in our graphics for Mark Lawton instead. 147. After the spin, Jerry Fincham looking to try and recover some of the places. Back again, Ben Miles obviously going to tumble down at the order now from 13th as other cars stream across the line. Charles Cooling loses a couple of spots actually on that lap. He was scrapping with Tim Ellison for 9th, but Ian Grant and John Ingram have got through, and a place change there. More recovery for Jerry Fincham, getting ahead of Peter Coombs.
Yeah, up into 14th, and actually 13th position, won't it, with the retirement of Ben Mile as well. So that is 88 now, up just to 13th position. That updates on our timing tower now. Well, here's John Village still leading the race. There's the 69 car, which is being driven by Hugo Pickup, who had that handicap race success at Snetterton in the last meeting for the historic 750 Formula cars. And he is, I think, yes, he is the leader of the normally aspirated Austin 7 class as well at the moment, ahead of Charlie Plain-Jones. There is the 37 car, that's Tim Ellison, trying to get past the supercharged Austin 7 of Tim Roebuck.
So there at Stowe, tucked in behind Ellison is Ian Grant, who has recently got ahead of Charles Cooling. John Ingram about 3 seconds back from this battle. 3 cars all together though, heading into Vale Corner itself. Actually, Cooling might got ahead of John Ingram in the background. We know, as I say, the number 3 car is a quick machine. And yes, Charles has managed to leapfrog Ian Grant, rather John Ingram for 11th position. And now Grant will be the next on his list. Here comes the number 3 car off the racing line, carrying very good speed out of Club. Can he draw sufficiently level though at the point of turning? Yes, to get ahead now of the number 20 car of Ian Grant.
So they are heading off down towards the hairpin at Village, and it's a nice little tussle this. We've got 5 cars pretty much all together, which is good to see Charles Cooling coming back into it. He says that Silverstone is his favourite circuit, and he says it's his home circuit, so it means less travelling and I don't have to sleep in a tent. That is his main reason and his main criteria for deciding which his preferred circuit is.
Always a bonus.
That certainly is. So he is chasing after the 37 car of Tim Ellison at the moment, making his way down the Hanger Straight. You've got the supercharged Austin 7 ahead and one of the normally aspirated Austin 7s. I think that's Thomas Emden, possibly, that is, although he's not in this race, is he? That's about to be lapped. That's one of the other cars. John Village, meanwhile, has done another new fastest lap of the race, 1:28.39. He's now 14 seconds ahead of Tim Sage in 2nd position. Cooling was just about to tap Tim Roebuck there. We're watching the 147 car, which is the Beach. I think that's a historic Formula V car in actual fact, but it's looking like it is expiring because the driver had his hand in the air there.
Yes, so 1 car getting through. Hugo Pickup, quite possibly. Side by side almost into Village Corner for between Jörg Schneider and Lyndon Thruston. So this is the battle for 6th position. They've got Roger Rowe a bit further up the road from them. John Village, though, we know is finding even more time. He's almost got a 14-second lead over Timothy Sage. Cars littering the hanger straight. Some embroiled in really close battles, others on their own, as Thruston takes a look up the inside of Schneider as they head. Oh, but a spin now for Tim Ellison. Charles Cooling had already got through for 8th place, and Ellison was just behind Timothy Roebuck in 10th. Hopefully can recover from there, but places are being lost.
Yeah, so the Centaur was the car that went round there. Look at this, we've got 3 cars almost side by side, 2 battling for position. Lyndon Thruston getting his way ahead now of Jörg Schneider then in the number 65 car. So Lyndon, the prime mover behind the historic 750 Formula Series these days, does an awful lot of hard work, and it's partly why we've got such a good field of cars. I think we had 24 cars start this race, if not slightly more than that. He's got ahead of the Swiss driver Jörg Schneider, who has done lots of hill climbing and club sport in Switzerland and France since 1990. He's been racing in historic 750 Formula since 2018, and he says it's the best series in the world, which is why he keeps going back from Switzerland to race in it. And the Team Bulldog Racing prepared Arthur.
3 minutes 40 seconds still to go. Jörg get then in 7th position. But any hope really for Timothy Sage of catching up with race leader John Village has gone well and truly out the window now, because it's north of 15 seconds the advantage on lap 8 for the race leader. Sage, though, only has about a second to play with back to Graham Wilson, so that's very tight as Michael Harvey heads out from the link and onto the hanger straight. Clear road in front of him, splendid isolation for Michael, with Mike Peck just appearing in the background.
Yeah, that's 3rd and 4th respectively within their class, which is the Austin 7 class. And of course this year celebrating the centenary of the Austin 7. 100 years old this year. Hard to believe that really, isn't it? But there we go. And we celebrated that with a special one-off race at Snetterton last time out, just for Austin 7s. Now, it looks like Jörg Schneider's got back ahead of Lyndon Thruston, and they've now caught Roger Rowe, the Kidderminster carpet impresario, and he is under pressure now for his 5th position.
They're heading into Abbey Corner as one, with Roger Rowe having to keep the elbows out if Jörg Schneider and Lyndon Thruston get any closer. The lower slung 5th place car, the 55, which is the RWR 750F, staying ahead for the time being, but clearly those cars behind are carrying good speed. We don't want any do-or-die manoeuvres heading off the link, although a little bit wide there onto the hanger straight was Jörg Schneider. Had Thruston been a touch closer, he might have been able to pounce. It's also side-by-side virtually between the 3rd and 4th place cars, so Trevor Slatter looking for a way by Graham Wilson, and I think he might have got him at Stowe.
Looked like he was about to, didn't it? We'll see if we can pick up on that in a moment. We've got 1 minute and 45 to go. There's good scrap for 4th going on as well. Well, there's Tim Sage going through in a solitary 2nd place. But here we are. Yes, it is a change for 3rd, because now number 72, Trevor Slatter, at Stowe Corner, had got ahead of number 7, Graham Wilson. And now they're heading through the Vale and towards the Club Corner, as Roger Rowe also heading into that part of the circuit as well, with Jörg Schneider and Tim Slatter behind him. I think we're probably going to have 2 more laps to go.
So Roger Rowe having to take a tighter line out of Club Corner to steer by one of the back markers, and also having to fend off Jörg Schneider's advances, because Schneider pretty much getting his front wheels level with Roger Rowe's rears, but Roger's car is good down the straights, doesn't have all of the width of the track at Abbey to play with that he would normally have on an open road, because there working his way through is Ben Bolt in the number 13 Austin 7 Silver Special. 3 cars still virtually glued to one another between Roger Rowe, Jörg Schneider and Lyndon Thruston to decide who will finish in the top 5. And a real queue developing off the link. Thruston to the inside line, but that is fended off by Schneider.
Yeah, we just saw them pass Ben Bolt's 1952 Austin 7 Special. Ben is 78 years of age from Bishop's Islington. Started racing though back in 1960. And his dad lied about his age to get a licence at the age of 16. I'm not sure how well that would go down in 2022. But anyway, here is John Village then. He's just coming across the line to start his final lap then. Or has the checkered flag gone out there? I think it may have done. In actual fact, it looks like the checkered flag has gone out a little bit earlier than expected, possibly. And I think John Village, therefore, has taken the win in car number 29. So we'll pick up this battle for fourth, which is just coming through Club Corner. And is Roger Rowe going to lose the position on the way to the line? It looks like he might do. Jörg Schneider has got his car up the inside, but Roger Rowe will try and come back on the outside line. These three red cars together. And I think the verdict is just going to go the way of Jörg Schneider. That's for fifth, I beg your pardon, not fourth position. So it's John Village, number 29, that took the victory then. From 42, Tim Sage in second place. 72, Trevor Slatter was third. 7, Graham Wilson was fourth. Then 65, Jörg Schneider, by just a tenth of a second, got fifth place. 155, Roger Rowe, and 23, Lyndon Thrushton. Those three were sort of a blanket finish at the end. And then now, Charles Cooling comes across the line to take 8th place in car number 3. 9th place goes the way of number 20, which is Ian Grant. We'll do shortly. He's yet to come through. There is Ian Grant in... well, actually, he's not 9th because Tim Roebuck has got ahead of him on the final lap. So he is 9th and winning the Supercharged Austin 7 class. And Ian Grant finishes 10th place in car number 20. I think probably already having completed his race, a lap down is Hugo Pickup in number 69 to win in Class A for the normally aspirated Austin 7. So a straightforward win for John Village, who we didn't see much of during the course of that race, Johnny, but there's lots of excitement further back.
Yeah, well, John was just doing what he does best, which is staying out in front and stabilising a gap. But yes, definitely that battle for 5th place, very intense indeed. Won by a tenth of a second in the end by Jörg Schneider over Roger Rowe, who must be kicking himself to have defended stoutly for the final 3 or 4 laps and then lost the position through club at the final time of asking. But he will take that on the chin. Roger Rowe, still a top 6 finish ahead of Lyndon Thrushton. And it was close for third as well between Trevor Slatter and Graham Wilson. Slatter in the end getting the judgment by a second.
Yeah, so let's just quickly run down those results. It was 29 John Village that took the victory then. From in second place, in the end it was 42 Timothy Sage. Third was number 72 Trevor Slatter. Fourth was number 7, which was Graham Wilson. Fifth was 65 Jörg Schneider. Sixth was 55 Roger Rowe. Seventh was 23 Lyndon Thrushton. Eighth was number 3 Charles Cooling. Ninth was 18 Timothy Roebuck, and 10th was number 20 Ian Grant. The class winners were Timothy Roebuck, who won Class S, the Supercharged Austin 7 class, in 9th position overall, and further back, 14th overall was number 69 Hugo Pickup. He won the normally aspirated Austin 7 class from 22 Charlie Plain Jones and 5 Michael Harvey. So that's the end of the first stanza of historic 750 Formula racing for today. They do have another race a little bit later on this afternoon. It's around about 20 to 5, and we look forward to seeing them back out again later on. We've got one more race to come before the lunch break as well, and that is going to be for the BMW Car Club Racing Championship. That's another of the categories that qualified this morning, and then we will go into our lunch break. But for now, we'll head down to the pit lane once again, and it'll be Chris Stevens with our race winner.
Well, I'm down here with our race winner, John Village. Absolutely impervious out there.
Well, I was lucky. I don't know what happened on the first lap, but suddenly they all disappeared.
Well, I mean, it makes it easier for you, I suppose.
It does indeed. It does indeed. So, no, I enjoyed it, but it's good to have a race. But on your own, you've got to concentrate a bit more.
Well, I suppose you've definitely got a race coming up with the handicap this afternoon. How do you think you're going to come through the field?
Are you sure it's a handicap race?
Well, I thought it was. I could be mistaken.
I think so.
Well, you might have more action to come this afternoon anyway.
Yeah, very much so. And it's my first race win as a granddad.
Well, congratulations to you on that.
So
That's fantastic.
My son had a little boy in the week, so, well, he didn't, but his partner did.
Oh, that's absolutely great news. So, well, we look forward to seeing you back out there this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's go back up to you, Ian.